on Y News. The Supreme Court clears 3 judges included in the narco list of President Rodrigo Duterte. The House Committee on Justice approves the substitute bill on death penalty. Lieutenant General Eduardo formally assumes as the 48th Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of the Philippines.
The Philippine National Police files formal charges against a third suspect in the foiled bombing in Manila. Meralco announces power rate increase for the month of December. And the BFP firefighters take on judiciary matches for the first time on Sunday in Untv Cup Season 5.
Y News begins now.
Untv News and Rescue Command Center. This is Y News with Gerry Alcantara and Darlene Basingan.
Good evening. The House Committee on Justice approves the substitute bill reinstating death penalty in the country. Nel Maribuhok will tell us why.
The proposed substitute bill that will revive death penalty in the Philippines already passed the committee level in the lower house today. Via vote of 12-6 with 1 abstention, the House Committee on Justice has approved the consolidated bill that would reimpose death penalty in the country. During today's deliberation, House Committee Vice Chairman Vicente Veloso discussed the need for the reimposition of death penalty.
Repeatedly committing the same mistakes, the same offenses, no longer as a recidivist but already as a habitual delinquent. If in front of you is Satan, what can courts do? None. Because the maximum penalty provided for in our penal system is that life imprisonment lang po yan.
Based on a subcommittee report, death penalty will be imposed on heinous crimes stated in the revised penal code. These include treason, qualified piracy, qualified bribery, parricide, murder, infanticide, rape, kidnapping, and serious illegal detention. Robbery, arson, and plunder also included are drug-related offenses as well as evidence planting in relation to charges of illegal drugs and carnapping. However, before approval, the bill underwent intense debate among lawmakers opposing the proposal.
So para may pagkilala na yung konstitusyon natin na ang death penalty ay hindi katanggap-tanggap.
The bill reimposes the death penalty on 21 crimes considered as heinous. This is a very substantial revision of the state of the law.
The proposed bill is expected to undergo plenary discussions before Congress takes a session break next week. Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue, House of Representatives.
President Rodrigo Duterte vows once again that he will not meddle with the system of the armed forces of the Philippines in selecting its leadership. Rosalie Coz will tell us why.
President Duterte maintains that he will not meddle into the Armed Forces of the Philippines system of selecting its next Chief of Staff until his term ends. This is contrary to what he will do in the Philippine National Police because he considers the organization as fractured due to the involvement of police personnel in illegal drugs operations in the country. This afternoon, Army Chief Lieutenant General Eduardo formally assumes position as the 48th Chief of Staff of the 125,000-strong Armed Forces of the Philippines. He vows to continue supporting the Philippine National Police in its war against illegal drugs.
The AP shall extend all necessary military capabilities to support the lead of the Philippine National Police and other law enforcement agencies in bringing down drug syndicates and in eradicating illegal drugs.
Lieutenant General Anyo becomes the third AFP Chief of Staff who belongs to the Philippine military class of 1983. First is retired General Hernando Iriberi and second is General Ricardo Visaya. Año was the brigade commander of the 201st Brigade, 2nd Infantry Division, and the commanding general of the 10th Infantry Division. Aside from this, he was also designated as the Assistant Deputy Chief of Staff for Intelligence, leader of the AFP Intelligence Service, and in July 2015, he was the Commanding General of the Philippine Army. Today, the retirement ceremony of General Ricardo Visaya also took place. After the turnover ceremony, the AFP immediately conducted a command conference led by President Duterte. Rosa Licoz, UNTV News and Rescue, Camp Aguinaldo.
Human rights group Karapatan considers as an insult the appointment of Lieutenant General Eduardo Año as the new Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. The group claims Año is involved in the disappearance of activist Jonas Burgos in 2007. His appointment as the highest official of AFP might impact the outcome of the enforced disappearance cases of Burgos and other victims. Thus, the group calls on President Rodrigo Duterte to reconsider his appointment of Año. In other news, the Philippine National Police has filed formal charges against the third suspect in the foiled bombing incident in Manila last week. Mon Hokson will tell us why.
The third suspect in the foiled bombing along Ross Boulevard is now under the custody of the Philippine National Police following his arrest on December 3 in Bulacan. National Capital Region Police Office Chief Police Director Oscar Albayalde identifies the suspect as Muhammad Humauas alias Modi, an X-ray technician living in Santa Ana, Bulacan. The suspect hid after his two companions had been arrested. Humauas resurfaced after assuming that the police had already stopped searching for him. Authorities immediately filed charges against Humauas after finding in his possession a caliber .45 gun and a hand grenade.
He was already charged of illegal possession of firearms and illegal possession of explosives.
Albayalde says a CCTV footage shows Humauas as among those who left the improvised explosive device at Luneta, the first area targeted by the group.
So nandito silang tatlo on that night, Sunday night, while conducting surveillance kung saan nila pwedeng iwan yung IED. So this series of footages, makikita natin dito, naglalakad sila doon sa vicinity ng Luneta, na kung saan nila gustong ilagay una yung IED. Nandito silang tatlo, naghiwa-hiwalay sila hanggang nag-proceed sila doon sa Baywalk, doon sa Rojas Boulevard.
Authorities are still searching for two other suspects who are also members of the Ansar al-Khalifa. Despite this, the NCRPO assures of a safe holiday season, further noting that their men are on alert to guard areas in Metro Manila. Mon Hokson, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
The Supreme Court has cleared 3 judges who were included in the narco list announced by President Rodrigo Duterte last August. Roderick Mendoza will tell us why.
The Supreme Court has terminated its fact-finding investigation on 3 judges implicated by President Rodrigo Duterte in illegal drugs trade. The High Court said it was constrained to end the probe, considering that despite repeated pleas, the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency insisted that no witness is willing to testify against the judges. As a result, the 3 were cleared of the President's allegations.
The Court hereby declares that no evidence has been put forward to link Judges Ezequiel I. Dagala, Adriano S. Savillo, and Domingo L. Casiple Jr. to any involvement in the use, trade, or proliferation of illegal drugs. The Court found that no prima facie case has been established against the said judges.
The High Court noted that Judges Dagala, Savillano, and Casiple had been placed in danger and their reputations had been damaged by their inclusion in the narco list, which the investigation revealed as unwarranted. The court adds that while it affirms its responsibility to discipline erring judges, they will never be an instrument in destroying the reputation of any member of the judiciary by upholding baseless allegations. In his concurring opinion, Justice Marvic Leonen says Duterte's public announcement implicating the judges in illegal drugs was premature.
All it achieved was to shame the judges and others similarly situated. It also dangerously contributes to the President's public misperception that courts of law are incompetent.
Meanwhile, retired Justice Roberto Abad, who was designated to probe the judges, reported to the court that he is still awaiting a reply to a query he had made as to the allegation against Baguio City RTC Judge Antonio Reyes. Roderick Mendoza, Untv News and Rescue, Manila.
The National Democratic Front of the Philippines, or NDFP, says it will sign the bilateral ceasefire agreement the government proposes if President Rodrigo Duterte assures the release of all political prisoners within 48 hours. This has been the response of the NDFP to the statement of government Chief Peace Negotiator Silvestre Bello III that the President wants a bilateral ceasefire agreement be signed first before releasing political detainees. NDFP Senior Advisor Luis Halandoni says the group will sign the bilateral ceasefire deal for the continuation of the peace talks in Rome in January on the condition that the President will release the country's more than 400 political prisoners and grant them amnesty. Foreign Affairs Secretary Perfecto Yasay says the Philippines is open to having a long-term arms deal with Russia if certain conditions will be met. Jun Soria will tell us why.
Foreign Affairs Secretary Perfecto Yasay Jr. says an arms deal with Russia is possible and the government is contemplating on it.
We need these kinds of support from countries. But we're very selective. Kung may offer ang Russia sa atin in this respect, hindi naman tayo magyayabang. We will look at it. If we will need this and they will give us better terms that we can afford, fair, equitable.
It should be recalled that Russia initially offered assistance to strengthen the capabilities of the armed forces of the Philippines. During his visit to the Philippines last week, Russian Ambassador Igor Kofayev announced that Russia will have no second thoughts about helping the armed forces of the Philippines acquire new firearms. Kofayev noted that Russia is also open to training Filipino soldiers, but they are not open to creating a military alliance with the Philippines.
We have a highly developed defense industry. And the Russian armed forces, they are equipped with the most advanced arms and weapons. We are ready to provide our partners with necessary assistance in order to create their own defense sector.
The United States is Philippines' primary arms supplier. However, an issue on the arms deal occurred due to the foreign policy change of the Duterte administration and its brutal war on drugs.
We relied heavily on only a few countries, principally the United States, and we forgot that in economic relationships, you cannot just rely on one country. We are all interdependent with each other.
Secretary Yasay and Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana visited Russia as part of preparations for the upcoming visit of President Duterte to the former Soviet state next year. Part of the agenda of the bilateral talks between Russia and the Philippines is the expansion of the ties of the two countries in the areas of security, economy, and cultural aspects. Jun Suriao, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Motorists traveling along España going to Moraita and Quiapo, Manila are experiencing heavy to moderate traffic. Joanano is at Pantranco, Quezon Avenue to tell us why live. Yes, Joanne, go ahead.
Yes, good evening, Darlene. We are now right here in Pantranco along Quezon Avenue to know the latest traffic update in some major roads within Metro Manila. Let's take a look at the traffic situation. Let's begin here in Pantranco, corner Roosevelt Avenue for motorists and commuters passing along here in the westbound area. For those who are traveling going home to Manila area, coming from Roosevelt Avenue until Santo Domingo, traffic is in light situation right now. But travelers going along España should expect a moderate movement of vehicles from Banawe area up to Dituazon. Coming from Welcome Rotunda, and if you are traveling going to Moraita, since it's rush hour, volume of vehicles is continuously increasing. Motorists should expect moderate to heavy traffic in those areas. Meanwhile, in the eastbound area, for those who are traveling coming from Manila, going back here in Quezon City, for those commuters coming from Quiapo, Manila, going to España, UST, moderate traffic is now being experienced by the motorists until they reach the area of G. Araneta Avenue. But right here in Pantranco, motorists will experience light to moderate traffic, especially for those who are exiting in EDSA Quezon Avenue, as well as for those who are traversing along Commonwealth eastbound for those commuters going to Fairview, Quezon City. While on the westbound area, motorists coming from Tandang Sora going to Elliptical Road, as of this moment, Darlene, motorists are now experiencing a moderate flow of vehicles. Let's take a look at the traffic situation in EDSA Guadalupe. Vehicles coming from Guadalupe going to Shaw Boulevard will experience light to moderate traffic, while motorists going to Ayala, if you are coming from Orense, will also experience light to moderate traffic as of this moment. Darlene, once again, we would like to remind all the motorists out there that since tomorrow is Thursday, a number coding scheme is still being implemented. All vehicles with plate numbers ending in 7 and 8 is strictly prohibited in all major roads within Metro Manila from 7 o'clock in the morning until 8 o'clock in the evening. And that was the latest traffic update. Back to you, Darlene.
Thank you, Joanne. And that's Joanna reporting live from Pantranco, Quezon Avenue.
Next in Y News. The Commission on Elections begins accepting voter registrants in malls as it reopens satellite registration today.
Meralco announces a power rate increase for the month of December.
Y News will be right back. Senator Antonio Trillanes IV strongly denies the alleged involvement of Representative Gerry Alejano in the circulating text messages, saying that they plan to commit a coup d'etat against the Duterte administration. Trillanes says they have no intention to power grab and claims that the text message is just a tactic to divert the public's attention from the issue of extrajudicial killings in the country.
At nawala magawa kundi i-divert yung issue from the gross incompetence and shortcomings ng Duterte administration.
Meanwhile, Senator Joel Villanueva reprimands several government agencies over the case involving Chinese illegal workers in Clark, Pampanga. Aiko Miguel will tell us why.
The Senate Committee on Labor, Employment and Human Resources Development is alarmed by the incidents involving the arrest of some Chinese nationals illegally working in a casino in Clarkfield, Pampanga. According to Committee Chair Senator Joel Villanueva, it is obvious that several government agencies have been negligent in providing working permits to foreign nationals upon their arrival in the country.
Hindi lamang yung pagbibigay ng working permit o pagmamonitor ng mga foreign workers, how much more nga yung illegal workers, yung pagmamonitor din noong pagbibigay ng visa at permit.
Present in the Senate inquiry today are representatives of DOLE's regional offices and the Bureau of Immigration that processes permits and visas to foreign workers.
In the first place, bakit nakapasok, di ba? 91, undocumented, walang passport, walang kahit na ano. Sorry to say this, but dun sa nakita natin kanina, kailangan talagang paluin itong mga ehensya na ito.
Based on initial investigation, some of the foreigners are already overstaying in the country while some of them are tourist visa holders. Villanueva demands explanation among the agencies as to how the foreigners were able to enter and work in the country without proper documents.
Nasa labor code po natin yan. Hindi tayo maaaring mag-hire ng mga foreign workers only unless walang Pilipino na may skill set o competent para gawin yung mga ginagawa nila.
Aiko Miguel, Untv News and Rescue, Senate of the Philippines.
Technical Education and Skills Development Authority or TESTA brings technical vocational education and training to Filipinos in rural areas. Joanna will tell us why.
The
Technical Education and Skills Development Authority is targeting to create more jobs in barangays by promoting technical vocational education and training. TESDA wants to equip residents in all barangays nationwide with marketable skills through its new program Barangay Kasanayan para sa Kabuhayan at Kapayapaan. The agency has already signed an agreement with the Liga ng mga Barangay sa Pilipinas, under which TESDA will conduct a survey in each barangay to determine the needed skills and provide appropriate trainings and livelihood programs for the residents with the help of barangay officials. TESDA Director General Attorney Giling Mamonjong says establishing strong connection among barangays will give opportunities to poor and deserving Filipinos. He adds that the program aims to reduce poverty incidence in the country.
Sumulat na po tayo sa lahat ng barangay kapitan sa buong bansa na mag-nominate sila ng mga taong gusto magkaroon ng skills training. Yung mga accredited schools pa rin.
Doon pa rin sila pupunta.
Sila pa rin. Hindi na sila maghanap.
On the other hand, the Liga ng mga Barangay sa Pilipinas will be the one in charge in identifying the beneficiaries of the training programs and monitor their performances throughout its duration. Those who wish to apply for the program may visit TESDA's district offices nationwide. Mamonjong assures that screening of recommendations coming from the barangay officials will not be manipulated, and those who wish to apply in the program will be granted as long as they are qualified.
May palakasan ba doon na? Para kasi sumulat si congressman, sumulat secretary, yung sa sa aking mga constituents, alat mo na akong scholarship na ganyan.
Hindi po. We assure them na yung mga constituents nila in their districts ay
will be served.
So wala na.
Hindi na kailangan pa ng recommendation nila.
Effortless po ito, effortless sa kanila. Yung district nila talagang mabibigyan.
Joan Nano, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
The Commission on Elections has already started accepting voter registrants in malls as it reopens satellite registration today. Roderick Mendoza will tell us why.
The Commission on Elections has reopened its voter satellite registration in malls across Metro Manila a month after the voters' registration resumed. COMELEC Chairman Andy Bautista says the effort aims to bring the registration closer to the voters.
Itong mall registration has been very successful. Ginawa natin ito for the May 2016 elections and over 500,000 voters registered through malls.
Registrants at Market in Taguig City seem pleased to have the registration closer to their place.
Sobrang bilis po kasi parang hindi po lumampas ng mga 15 minutes gano'n.
Kasi masyado pong malayo sa amin. Ngayon, dito na po kami nakatira sa Taguig.
COMELEC is also open to the idea of opening satellite registrations in barangays, depending on the request of local government units. COMELEC advises voters to register early so that the poll body will no longer have to extend the registration.
Dapat wag nang hintayin yung last minute. Dapat magparehistro na sila kung kinakailangan.
COMELEC will close the voters' registration in April to prepare for the Sanggunian and barangay elections. The Commission is targeting to register 2 to 3 million more voters until April next year. Robbie De Guzman, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Electricity rate is expected to increase this month. Mon Hokson will tell us why.
Meralco announces that power rates for the month of December will increase by 10 centavos. This is because electricity prices in the market have slightly gone up due to the weakening of the peso against the US dollar.
Yun yung first gas at Quezon Power. An estimated 96% of their charges to Meralco is dollar denominated.
For this reason, households consuming 200 kilowatts a month can expect an additional 20 pesos in their electric bill. Households consuming 300 kilowatts a month will pay an additional of 30 pesos, while 40 pesos for those with 400 kilowatts consumption and 50 pesos to those with 500 kilowatts power consumption. There had been 7 instances of power rate reduction and 5 instances of power rate increase this year. The power rate increase for December of this year is comparably lower than the same period in 2015. Meralco reminds its customers anew to conserve energy. Always turn off decorative lights, especially at night. Avoid doing the so-called octopus connection which may cause fire. Meralco says power consumption normally decreases every December.
mas mataas pa rin po di hamak yung magiging consumption pattern ng mga customers, ng mga electricity consumers pagpasok po ng April, May at June.
Meralco said if the peso recovers this month, the public could expect a reduction in power rates in January. Mon Hokson, UNTV News and Rescue, Pasig City.
The Mindanao Development Authority stresses that the power supply in Mindanao must be interconnected with the Visayas. Victor Cosare will tell us why.
The Mindanao Development Authority explains that although Mindanao is experiencing excesses in power supply for now, there is still a need for the power supply in the region to be interconnected with the Visayas. MDA's Assistant Secretary Romeo Montenegro explains that this is due to the rising demand for power in Mindanao.
At the end of the day, electricity demand in Mindanao will go up an average of 6 to 8%, growing by 10% at the rate of investments coming into Mindanao. Meaning to say, we will need more electricity, not necessarily today because we have excess, but 15 years down the road, 20 years down the road, we will definitely need electricity. And then if we don't put up the interconnection now, it may be too late for us to look at having the capacity available from either Visayas or Luzon.
A proposal for the interconnection has already been laid down and its realization is targeted to be completed by the year 2022. In preparation for the interconnection, MDA is insisting that Mindanao already adopt the wholesale electricity market system because Luzon and the Visayas regions are practicing it already. Through this, the excess power supply of more or less 700 megawatts will be utilized. Also, the more costly renewable energy will be given priority in the market. However, this system is not a guarantee that consumers will be enjoying a reduction in their electricity bill.
Na hindi ibig sabihin na may market na si Mindanao, lahat ng capacity ng electric cooperative sa market na nila bibilhin. Hindi. Nandun pa rin yung mga long-term contracts nila. What they will be getting from the market are only capacities na hindi nila na-forecast na from time to time kailangan pala nila, or kung hindi nila kailangan, hindi sila bibili sa market.
MDA also explained why brownouts still occur in some parts of Mindanao despite the oversupply.
The brownouts that we encounter from time to time are actually transmission related, not supply related, because we are still in the process of looking at seeing the realization of many transmission upgrading projects currently being undertaken by the NGCP. Plus other upgrading of transmission lines being done by some electric cooperatives. Plus ongoing clearing operations in some other areas where trees are actually planted underneath transmission lines.
Victor Cosare, UNTV News and Rescue, Davao City.
Over 100 Filipino workers in Dubai received free medical and other services from UNTV and its partners in public service. Beverly Balmaceda will tell us why.
UNTV's public services have reached Filipino workers in Dubai, United Arab Emirates. Our Kasambahays conducted a free medical mission where more than 200 OFWs were served. They were able to consult doctors and were given free medicines and flu vaccines. Aside from the free medical services, several OFWs also availed of the free calls brought by UNTV together with its partners in public service and Philippine Consulate in Dubai.
Laking tulong sa aming mga OFW. Kasi actually mahirap, for example, expensive yung mga check-up habang tumatagal ka, overstress sa trabaho, pero at least may mga ganitong bagay at saka yung calls na tawag sa family, maganda rin yun. Nakakatulong sa amin, nakakabawas ng stress.
Nagpapasalamat po kaming lahat, UNTV, The Medical City, ArcMed, LBC, PhilInvest, at sa lahat ng mga kapatiran po na tumulong sa atin para maging ganap po yung ating pagtulong sa ating kapwa, lalong-lalo na po sa mga OFWs natin na nangangailangan ng medical assistance.
As part of UNTV's initiatives and Kuya Daniel Razon's advocacy that good deeds do not bear evil, our Kasambahays in Dubai held a film showing of Kuya Daniel's movie, Isang Araw Lang Part 1. This aims to entertain the OFWs being apart from their loved ones aside from the lessons they can learn from the movie.
Yung pagiging Pinoy, yung inuuna yung kapakanan ng iba, which is a very good value. Parang he is very selfless.
Even Consul General Paul Raymond Cortez took part in the activity.
In all aspects, good is always over evil, and this we see through the movie, and it gives us an insight on how what really is necessary in this world. We hope to come up with more projects with Untv in the future.
Beverly Balmaceda for Serbisyong Kasambahay.
Coming up, Paris bans vehicles with odd-numbered license plates and opens the city's metro service free to all passengers over high pollution levels.
And Kuya Daniel Razon and two of UNTV's programs received this year's National Customer's Choice Award.
More from Y News after this break. The tail end of a cold front is affecting the eastern section of central and southern Luzon, while the northeast monsoon is affecting northern Luzon. Based on Pagasa's forecast, cloudy skies with moderate to occasionally heavy rains and isolated thunderstorms will be experienced over the provinces of Camarines, Quezon, and Aurora. Cloudy skies with light to moderate rains and thunderstorms is expected over Metro Manila, Central Luzon, and the rest of the Bicol region and Calabarzon. Cloudy skies with light rains will prevail over the regions of Ilocos, Cordillera, and Cagayan Valley, while partly cloudy to cloudy skies with isolated rain showers or thunderstorms is expected over the rest of the country. A December blizzard pounded parts of the Midwest in the United States that made conditions difficult for drivers on Tuesday. In Grand Forks, North Dakota, the city has seen a foot or 30 centimeters of snow since Monday night. Windy conditions created poor visibility on the highways, while city and private contractors were busy clearing away the snow. Dozens of accidents are happening in several counties on interstates as well as state roads. The weather and the accidents combined to snarl traffic. Thus, authorities are warning motorists to slow down in the southwestern part of the state. Snow in the region is expected to continue through the weekend.
The death toll from a strong earthquake that hit northern Indonesia's Aceh province on Wednesday has reached to more than 90. Search and rescue teams use earth movers to clear the rubble and reach what authorities believe are dozens of victims trapped after the magnitude 6.5 quake. Based on the latest report, the death toll is 52. 73 people were seriously injured and about 200 are suffering from minor injuries. A state of emergency had been declared in Aceh.
Diperkirakan korban masih bertambah, mengingat masih terdapat beberapa warga yang saat ini diperkirakan masih tertimbun oleh reruntuhan atau bangunan roboh. Sehingga tim SAR gabungan masih terus melakukan.
Bans vehicles with odd-numbered license plates and opens the city's metro service free to all passengers. June Garin will tell us why.
The Paris Metro opened free for all passengers on Tuesday, while residents are encouraged to car share as cold weather and low winds have prevented the dispersion of toxic emissions in the French capital, pushing pollution levels upwards. Paris banned vehicles with odd-numbered license plates in efforts to curb high pollution levels across the city. Air Paris, which monitors air quality in the Paris region, monitored that the air quality index reached a level of 87 on Tuesday, which is one level below the highest alert. Parisian authorities have advised motorists to reduce their speed on the city's main routes. Out on the street of Paris, Parisians are largely positive over the city's measure to curb pollution levels.
Alors par rapport à la pollution, je pense que ça doit pouvoir aider. En tout cas, c'est très agréable d'avoir Paris avec la moitié des voitures qu'on y trouve habituellement. Et sinon, je relativise beaucoup parce que j'habite dans une ville qui est peut-être la plus polluée du monde en Asie. Et ici, j'ai l'impression déjà que l'air est pur. Et quand je vois qu'on essaie de le rendre encore plus pur, je me dis que je ne vis pas sur la même planète.
Je pense que c'est une bonne chose pour la pollution et c'est une bonne chose pour les usagers aussi. Ça leur fait faire des économies. Par contre, ça coûte très cher à la région.
On Wednesday, December 7, here in Paris, the city will ban vehicles with even-numbered license plate as the pollution spike is expected to remain. June Garin, UNTV News and Rescue, Paris, France.
South Korean President Park Geun-hye says she will accept the result of the impeachment. Eric Ferrero will tell us why.
South Korean President Park Geun-hye said on Tuesday she would accept the result of an impeachment vote against her this week. Parliament is expected to hold a vote on impeachment on Friday, but even if the opposition wins the two-thirds majority needed for impeachment, the vote must be upheld by the country's constitutional court, a process that could take months. Top officials of Park Sen-uri party Chung Jin-suk said the president was willing to accept her party's proposal for her to step down in April, but gave no indications that was willing to resign immediately.
4월에 퇴진, 그리고 6월에 조기 대선을 하자는 당론을 정했다는 소식을 듣고 나라를 위해 전국을 안정적으로 풀어가야 한다는 생각에서 당론을 정한 것으로 생각을 했다. 또 그때부터 그대로 받아들여야 되겠다는 생각을 쭉 해왔다.
Park's terms officially ends in February 2018. She could become South Korea's first democratically elected leader to leave office early in disgrace should the impeachment pushes through. The three opposition parties need at least 28 members from Park Sen-uri party for the impeachment bill to pass.
탄핵이 가결이 되면 그 결과 받아들여서 그 상황에서 제가 할 수 있는 모든 노력을 다 하겠다.
Park has denied wrongdoing but has apologized for carelessness in her ties with a friend Choi Son-sil. Eric Ferrer, UNTV News and Rescue, South Korea.
Accompanied by English and Russian co-pilots, Conservationist Sasha Dench breaks a record in channel crossing, traversing the English Channel. June Garin will tell us why.
British-Australian conservationist and paramotorist Sasha Dench touched down on home soil in the UK on Monday, December 5th, as part of a 3-month expedition following the migration of swans across Europe. Dench took off from Calais in France and arrived in Dover in England on Monday morning, making her the first woman to cross the English Channel in a paramotor, a motorized paraglider. The human swan set off from Arctic Russia on September 19 to follow the annual migration of the Bewick's swan through 11 countries back to Slimbridge in Gloucestershire, where many of the swans stay for winter. Her mission was to find out why the number of swans making the migration from Arctic Russia to Northern Europe dropped from 29,000 to 18,000 from 1995 to 2010. While flying across remote areas in the Russian tundra at the start of the trip, Dench was rescued by a reindeer breeder following engine failure. Dench, who works for the Wildfowl and Wetlands Trust, then traveled through the Baltic states, Poland, Germany, Denmark, the Netherlands, Belgium and France before arriving on home turf. Sasha Dench is now calling on signatures for a petition demanding greater action to recreate 100,000 hectares of wetlands the birds rely on to survive. Dench will hand-deliver this petition to 10 Downing Street, the office of the United Kingdom's Prime Minister. June Garin, UNTV News and Rescue, Paris, France.
Kuya Daniel Razon and two of UNTV's programs received the 2016 National Customer's Choice Award. Nina Armilia will tell us why.
UNTV is known for its advocacy to extend help through various public services. As recognition to the outstanding contribution when it comes to public service, the National Customer's Choice accorded two of UNTV's programs, Doctors on TV and Serbisyong Kasangbahay. For the second time, the program Doctors on TV has been hailed as the most outstanding medical and trusted medical TV show. Hosted by medical specialists, the program gives the public broader knowledge on health. Doctors on TV also include free consultation for those who need medical attention.
Dahil sa parangal na to, mas lalo po namin pagbubutihin ang Doctors on TV show na maging mas informative and innovative medical TV program.
The Most Outstanding and Trusted Public Service Program Award was given to the program Serbisyong Kasangbahay. The program Serbisyong Kasangbahay has been airing for only a few months, and yet there have been many people in need assisted by the program. This is one of the public service initiatives of Untv, led by Kuya Daniel Razon.
The main purpose of the program ay para makatulong sa ating mga kababayan. Pero nakakatuwa dahil ilang buwan pa lamang po nakatanggap na kami ng recognition. Kuya Daniel, again, sa lahat ng mga staff, maraming salamat sa Diyos.
And for his unique contributions, Kuya Daniel was given the Achievement Award in Television and Public Service.
Amin lang po ay hindi naman namin magagawa ito without God's help. Kaya laging sinasabi nga namin na ang karangalan po ay sa Panginoon na nagbibigay sa atin ng mabuting pagkakataon para makapagserbisyo, makagawa ng ating maliit na bahagi. And we're praying na sana ay makapagpatuloy kami na maging maliit na kasangkapan kung anuman po ang pwedeng magawa namin on our part. And it's really an honor on our part na mapagtiyagaan kami sa maliit naming magagawa, maiko-contribute and sa larangan ng public service and even sa broadcasting kung ano yung ating maibabahagi para sa ating mga kapwa-tao. And we will continue with or without recognition. With God's help, we will pursue our quest.
Awardees in the National Customer's Choice Award were selected based on a survey among Filipinos who were satisfied of the services rendered by a particular organization or company. Nino Armilio, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
David Villa is hailed as the most valuable player in Major Soccer League. Meanwhile, two new sports will be able to tap into some funding from the International Olympic Committee. Aaron Romero tells us why.
The martial art of Muay Thai and cheerleading received provisional recognition as Olympic sports by the International Olympic Committee, or IOC. The two sports will now be able to tap into some IOC funding and take part in a number of programs. They take the number of recognized Olympic sports to 37. At the end of their 3-year provisional recognition period, they can apply to become part of the Olympic Games sports program.
From those applications, we put forward two international federations for recognition today, and they were both approved. The first is the International Federation of Muay Thai, and the second is the International Chair Union.
Meanwhile, Major League Soccer hails New York City forward David Villa as the most valuable player after leading the club to its first playoff appearance. The former Barcelona striker, who also finished runner-up for the MLS Golden Boot with 23 goals, bested Bradley Wright Phillips and Sasha Cleastan New York Red Bulls. Villa was a key part of New York City's incredible turnaround as the team claimed a postseason spot after finishing 17th in 2015.
Estoy muy contento, muy feliz de poder recibirlo. Es uno de los días más importantes dentro de mi carrera, poder recibir este premio. Como digo, pues siempre es importante recibir el cariño de todo el mundo y realmente este premio significa mucho para mí.
Aaron Romero, UNTV News and Rescue, New York.
The BFP, firefighters, and the judiciary managers prepare for Sunday's battle on UNTV Season 5 Hardcourt. Bernard Dadis will tell us why.
Okay, a breakout. No contest there.
Sunday's victory over the Ombudsman Grabbusters allowed the BFP firefighters to seal a slot in the second round elimination of UNTV Cup Season 5. For this, Coach Ramon Garcia's side is thankful that their efforts in the first round elimination have paid off.
Salamat. Actually, I told the boys lang, it's gonna be a payback game. Bawi lang tayo.
The second round elimination welcomes the firefighters with a match against the two-time UNTV Cup title holder Judiciary Magis as Group A teams take on teams in Group B.
Again, yung half-court offense namin, kailangan namin tsagayin talaga yun. Again, we're known for a fast-break team. So now, gusto namin tsagayin yung half-court namin.
On the other hand, the judiciary matches, in spite of their championship caliber performance, are preparing even harder for Sunday's face-off.
Dapat talaga mag-double time kami, tapos yung preparation namin, kailangan lang talaga practice hard. Tapos usap lang, tsaka yung sabi nga ng coaching staff, kailangan tulong-tulong. Hindi pwede yung mag-relax kasi yung second round talagang wala nang dyan Talagang ang lahat ng team malalakas.
Watch out for another hard-court action between the BFE firefighters and the judiciary magis as they battle for the first time this season on Sunday, December 11, 2 p.m. at the University of Makati Gymnasium. Bernard Daddies for UNTV Cup Season 5.
Those are the reasons behind the news December 7, 2016. I'm Gerry Alcantara.
Reasons we delivered to you as they unfold. I'm Darlene Basingan.
Because we need to know, we will always ask why. Thank you for watching Why News.